What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, for this video, we're going to be jumping into some Cable Reloaded issue number 1. With Teen Cable's line coming to an end, and Old Man Cable being resurrected and brought back, we are getting a brand new storyline that is freaking loaded and so much fun. Now, with Old Man Cable being dropped back into the mix, they're throwing him right into some missions. And as it stands, Dormammu has currently taken possession of Ego the Living Planet, using him as a beachhead for a full assault on all of reality. And by conquering 5 significantly magical planets, he plans to draw a mystic sigil the size of a galaxy. But Rocket Raccoon and Dr. Doom have formed a plan to stop him, and they're gonna need the help of Cable. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up in deep space. And Cable has been away for quite a while, or at least Old Man Cable has, with our Teen Cable taking over for quite some time. With Old Man Cable being put down in the dirt, he's missed some things along the way. But as they sit here in deep space, they are on Grey Mulkin 2, his home base, his home away from home. And currently he is making his approach to the Breakworld. Now, Cable doing Cable's thing, not sure if this is going to work, but we see him shot out of the ship, because at the end of the day, he can't get close enough without being picked up on radar. With all of its advances in technology, with its cloaking and everything else, he can only get so close. And so, jettisoning himself out of the ship, he goes into the atmosphere of the Breakworld. A very ballsy move, because he's not sure if his arm shield is going to be able to hold up to entry into a planet. But he's going to try it anyway, because this is the only way. This is the only way that they could properly infiltrate this planet. And as he makes his descent, as he falls through the atmosphere, he remembers the mission briefing. He goes over all of the details in his head. And that's what picks us up a little bit ago with Abigail Brand. 1 hour ago, he was sitting in the Sword briefing office, because he is currently Sword's head of security, sitting on Station 1, aka the Peak. They are going over the battle plan, with Dormammu currently having an army of mindless ones at his disposal. He's using them as shock troops, and he's having them attack the 5 magically significant planets. And if he's able to take every single one of them, it's completely game over. But Sword is working actively to try to prevent this, and they're doing that as part of the new Galactic United Front. And of course, Abigail has a plan. Somebody that doesn't usually work with individuals, but in this case, they're working with somebody that knows exactly what needs to get done. That individual being Rocket Raccoon. Now, Cable knows who he is. He knows him by reputation, because in the future, there are stories about him. There are stories about this day. There are stories about this operation. These days and these battles are really what earned him the reputation as one of the greatest tacticians to ever live. And after seeing him, he had no more questions. He knew whatever the plan was, it was going to be a good plan. It was going to be a plan worth doing, no matter how dangerous it may be. Because from his time, in an era that he lived in, Ranger Rocket is a galactic folk hero. Even on Earth, people tell stories of him, remembered much like Alexander the Great crossed with Jesse James. He is a freaking living legend, and today is the reason why. Now, with that being said, Cable knows that legends lie, that futures can definitely change. And there's nothing stopping him from dying right here, right now, in this complete operation going kaput. And as he activates his defense shield, it absorbs most of the blast. It's absorbing most of this heat coming off. Even moving at 1,700 miles per hour, he's sitting here floating in a state of zero inertia. And as he gets closer and closer to the ground, this is when the shield starts to go out. It starts to have a malfunction, and he has about 7 seconds until he hits the ground. And so trying to get it into operation, trying to get it to work, this is where we see him crash down into the dirt. Hitting down in the ground at full freaking speed, we see Cable climb out, getting the shield in operation at the last freaking second. It took a good amount of the blast, but we see that it fried his arm completely, and there is almost nothing left of it. And with this arm being complete scrap at this point, this is where we see him activate the hard light hollow projected arm, one of the many but super awesome arms that he has inside of his arsenal. Not only that, but he activates the Nate Combat Armor Tattoo, because at the end of the day, this is freaking Cable, and he always comes heavily freaking armed. But this time, he is not coming alone. He is not coming solo. He just needed to be able to get onto the planet's surface, to find a little patch of dirt, because what he brought with him is a seed for a Krakoan portal, a gateway to open up and allow the X-Terminators to come through. And so we see him plant the seed into the ground, and with the gateway popping up, we see his team make their way through. His team being made up of Cannonball, of Boom Boom, WizKid, Cora of the Burning Heart, and Miss Cheney herself. A hand-selected team, hand-chosen specifically for this fight. And it doesn't take long for them to get noticed, with the Breakworlders showing up just on time, showing up exactly when they anticipated them to. They need a ride, and of course these guys have it. Now, Cora of the Burning Heart, she comes from Araco, and so when these guys say that they are warriors, she tests that. She tests it by throwing one of her knives, and we see it impale this dude's head. Their commander taken out just like that, and the fight breaks out. And with everybody jumping into action, Cable lets them all know that they're not here to be murdering people. You know, Cannonball being here, Cannonball is more of a softer individual. He's not all about just murdering everybody that gets in your way. And this kind of rubs off on Cable from time to time. Having that innocence around him, though it can be harmful, he really does enjoy having that kind of checks and balance around him to ensure that he's just not stepping over the line all the time, to have some kind of morality sitting by his side. And so he tells them to use non-lethal force, or at least to the best of your ability. Try not to kill these guys for 2 reasons. 1, just to simply not kill them, because we're not actually here for them. And 2, we need to keep their rides intact so we can actually use them to get to our overall mission. And so we see WizKid, he pulls out his big guns. We see him pull out the big guns and shoot one of these things down from the sky. But this is freaking WizKid at the end of the day. And so using his powers, he manipulates the ship, checking out this pretty awesome alien technology. But of course, WizKid, he can always make some modifications. There is always something he can make better, especially when it comes to technology. And so now having their rides, having their way to be able to get to their main objective, we see them hauling butt through this city. But as they drive through, they notice that this place is very weary. This place looks like a trap. It looks like somebody is setting us up here, because there is not a single living soul anywhere around us. Not a single animal, not a person, nothing. And so if they didn't know any better, this is 100% an ambush. And Cable tells everyone to keep their head on a swivel, because this place is not a living place. It's a factory, fully automated to build itself into what it needs to be. It's a self-evolving machine, and it houses the weapon that they are here to steal. And as they make their way through the city, this is when they see the giant monstrosity known as Mark II. Now, Mark I was as big as a freaking planet, but Mark II is a much more compact model, if you will. But compact is a word that we use very loosely right here, because compact is the last thing that you would consider this. And you would only say that in comparison to Mark 1. And we see the giant Gundam attack. We see it open up with every single missile that it has on board. But like we said earlier, this team was handpicked. Picked for a very specific reason. Because Cable, Rocket Raccoon, they all knew that this was here. They knew that this was the primary defense protecting the weapon. And so to be able to take it down, they need 3 individuals from the team. And those individuals are Korra, Boom Boom, and Cannonball. And what we see is one of the great things about this new era of mutants. It's seeing the powers and the capabilities that they have combined. And Korra charging up Boom Boom, she creates a bomb unlike anything that she has ever manifested. Getting in touch with a power that she never even dreamed of. She creates something big enough that's going to take down this Mark II. And the delivery system is Cannonball. And as they get close enough, we see Cannonball grab onto this giant bomb and he takes off. Taking off into the sky, he jettisons himself and he lands directly on the head of Mark II. And we see the giant robot, it falls back and it is completely decapitated. Cannonball took this thing out. Our X-Terminators have knocked it out of the field. And that's when WizKid and Korra, they head off. They head off to finish off this mission because he needs to find the nearest access terminal. And with Korra giving him that extra boost, it takes him roughly 2 seconds to access the entire system, and they are in complete control now. And it's really interesting because Korra, she's from Morocco, and being from Morocco, she is not used to teaming up. She's not used to very powerful individuals needing some kind of assistance. But what she's learning from her Krakoan counterparts is that their powers can be so amplified if they simply work together. Though they don't need help individually, they could very easily do these tasks alone. With that extra power boost, with them working as a team, they can accomplish so much more. And we saw that with the terraforming of freaking Mars. It's just gonna take a while for the Iraqi people to really accept and learn how to work together and not be at constant war. But with them tapping into the system, they now have a planet-sized freaking gun. And Miss Cheney, she came along because she is our teleporter. And what better way to do a heist than to teleport it out of there? And we see her teleport it to their base on Mars. But this was only half the plan, because Rocket Raccoon and Abigail Brand, they have been working on something else. They have been working on the ammunition that is going to be fired out of this gun. And after using pretty much what's left of their Mysterium, they finally have the ammunition they need. They finally have the weapon they need, and now it's about time that they use it. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I personally absolutely love this issue. I think was absolutely fantastic. It's everything that the Cable line has been needing. You know, me personally, I really enjoyed the Kid Cable. It was a fun line. It was very entertaining. But Old Man Cable is just so much better. And it's because he's got all that experience. He's got that worn, torn, rugged look. He's just somebody that you would almost automatically follow into battle. Not only that, he's calculated. He's a great tactician. And seeing him, you know, have the X-Terminators teaming up with Abigail Brand, Rocket Raccoon, this is everything that I wanted this story to be. And so I have huge expectations for what's to come after reading this issues. I am highly anticipating the future for Cable Reloaded. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.